Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to play you Candus Bly's interview. Candus is Summer Wells' mother. I'm going to play you her interview, her extended interview. So the way they have it is they have one of the interviews you could just find where you could just hear her responding. And then I found clips where you could actually hear what the news reporter was asking her. So what I did is, the first part is where you could hear what... Wow, thunder. You guys hear that? Storm in here. But the first part, you will be able to hear what the news reporter is asking Candus. And then I played another part where you just hear Candus replying. But the reason I'm playing that after is because there are some parts that aren't in this first part that are added to the second part, if that makes any sense. So there's going to be some repeats where you hear the same parts of the interview, but then there's, like I said, there's a reason, because the first interview I'm playing has the reporter, and then the second one has extra parts that aren't in the first one. So I'm just going to play them both for you so you have them. And then there's some other information on that Christopher Markos that I want to share, and a couple posts people have been posting that supposedly know Candus that I wanted to share some of their experiences. And yeah, that's it. And then I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow to discuss this a little bit.
Josh and Sarah, several of our colleagues have spoken with Summer's mother off camera. She's even provided videos and photos of her daughter. But tonight, for the first time, she shares her account of what happened the night her daughter went missing, and like her husband, that she believes her 5-year-old girl was taken.
We really miss her very much. She was the angel, our blessing, the love of our life. She's what made our world go around.
It's been 13 days since Candus Bly and Donald Wells last saw their 5-year-old daughter, Summer.
I'm just scared that somebody's hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it, and it smothers me.
As the almost 2-week-long search through the rough terrain scales back, Summer's parents say they believe someone took their daughter.
Personally, I think someone came up here and grabbed her and ran down the hill.
I think so
and
too.
Threw her in a car and drove as far away as they could from this area.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Around 6:30 in the evening on June 15th, her father called to report her missing, but he wasn't home yet from work.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV, and I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back, and within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
Summer has 3 older brothers.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
Her parents say she loves princesses, especially the movie Frozen, and to be outside.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl," and she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
Now, authorities are looking for the driver of a red Toyota Tacoma that was in the area around the time Summer went missing, and stressing that this person is a potential witness.
I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. I mean, if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
No one has been named a suspect, and authorities have not ruled Summer's disappearance as an abduction. But tonight, her parents have one plea.
Please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go and where we can get her back.
Please bring her back home.
Just let her come home, please.
We miss her so much. Her brothers are so devastated that they wake up every morning crying for their sister. And as a mother, it really hurts to see your other children crying. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point.
Sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around, ever. We were waiting on my mother's prescription from the drugstore at Walgreens on Fort Henry and Moreland Drive, and Warriors was straight across, so we just figured I'd take her over there to go swimming for a little bit while we waited on my mom's prescription. We weren't even there but 20 minutes.
And so then Summer came back here with you later that afternoon, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so was there anybody else with you?
No, not when we came home, no.
Was there anybody else swimming with you? People I think had questions about
Wanted to go with because he didn't want to be around his grandmother because, as he would call it, she's a I'm sorry, that's what he said. And I said, okay, well, I gotta go pick up Mom from the hospital, and then we gotta go do Walgreens, and then I'll take you home. Well, we had to wait for Mom's prescription at Walgreens, so we just went up to Warriors. There was all kinds of trash everywhere at Warriors when we showed up. And I let Summer out to play. And we just stood there for about 15-20 minutes. And then we all got back in the truck and went and got Mom's prescription. And I took him home. And then we came home.
About how many hours was that before she was reported missing?
You know, I really can't tell you all the time details because time gets away from you when you're trying to enjoy yourself.
Is there anything else you wanted to address about the TikTok or any rumors or things you've seen about that while we're on that topic?
I don't really have no more than that.
Candus, we know that this is the second time you've dealt with a heartbreak that you don't have an answer to when your sister missing. Did you want to say anything about your sister being missing or recall any of that?
When my sister came missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
Well, yeah, there's nothing. I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And you know, when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Lose it.
And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again, you know. So I start thinking in past tense, sorry. But I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
And, has it been tough, having to deal with that situation and then this happening too? I mean, how does that make you feel that?
It is difficult. It's very difficult. It makes no sense at all. How can people just vanish and not be heard from or seen without a trace? It's very devastating.
Keep a close watch on your kids.
Yes,
Don't let them out of your sight.
a lot. I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are around here. Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I mean, I don't know, it seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. I mean, if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point. Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, out of love, and trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
It means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world. And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts, and that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with. So we don't know anything about, you know, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because we just try to be around good people. I mean, and we do have good people in this area. We found out since this has all happened. We got some real good neighbors and good folks everywhere. But
the most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around, ever.
she loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl," and she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired, you know. But and you know, I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, you know, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, you know. Well, I'm sorry about that. It's just.
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called House, My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance. She
liked to think of herself as a princess, and you know, and all that, like all young girls do. And
she loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa, and
I think she really loved to be in church because she felt a lot of love there. And I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, you know, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church. Or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase that, because they'll tear that apart as past tense, and I apologize again for that. I hope she gets to come home, you know, and I hope she gets to be with our church family again.
Our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
Yeah, she looked up to women that were...
She come to that church, she went looking for Robin. That was her favorite person.
Any woman that was professional, that
was pretty, beautiful.
She looked up to those kind of women. She, you know, they were, the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it, but she looked up to them. She'd give them a run for their money every day. She'd give them a run for their money. And there was times, you know, we'd be, you know, at our boys, like, don't do this and don't do that. And next thing you know, the stick would come up and just whop them, you know, and it'd be like, Summer, don't do that.
Summer was the boss of the family.
Yeah,
she
typical girl.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower around, she would run behind me. When the boys run their bikes around, she, as fast as that little bike could go, she would be behind them running and keeping up with them, no problem. You know, she loved to run. She just loved to run, and she could pull herself up on that swing, her full body weight with her two hands, and she could do that. None of the other boys can do that, but she can.
Was she in school yet?
No, she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year.
She's been. We did all the what?
I took care of everything. Yeah. I had her already taken all of her shots and registered in the school ready for this year.
Yeah. I just never expected for anyone to get a hold of my heart like she has, because I try to guard my heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands, and I love her with all my heart. I mean, I'd do anything to have her back.
Your little girl.
If there's any way, if you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow, I don't know how you might do that. I mean, 'cause you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back. And just please have mercy on her, and you know, and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please, please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. My biggest fear is, you know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. And that was her, unfortunately, her downfall. 'Cause a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now." You know, and that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And
She loved to be outside.
Yep. And I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, you know, locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything, love nature, you know, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, you know, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because it's so easy to get, you know, lost in that negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I appreciate y'all, the good things you say, and your prayers. That's awesome.
When my sister came missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
Well, yeah, there's nothing. I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And you know, when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Lose it.
And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again, you know. So I start thinking in past tense, sorry. But I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
So you can see, here's the charge. Don Wells' charge. Summer's father's son. And as you can see, he has... Well, I'll let you read it. You guys could read that. So you have him. It's probably in the presence of Summer. And then we're going to go over Christopher Markos. And he has charges in 3 different states. These kind of charges. Okay, so here's a post from somebody who supposedly talked to Candus, Summer's mom, after Summer disappeared. So this person said that she told me she don't even know when she disappeared. Candus told you that? I recommend you tell TBI. Do you talk to her? How are you getting her to talk to you? Are you talking about Summer's mom? Yes, she told me, and I've sent all my conversations in. Tell the police. She's on my friends list. Oh, so you talked to her before all this? No, only the last couple days. Wow, just wow. That's just crazy. How can you not know when? Saddens my heart. That is just sad. If she wasn't drunk or messed up, she would have known. I believe it. I believe she was gone before they called police. What the what? I said the same thing. Please tell the police. I have sent it all to them. Thank you. I know you can't really tell sensitive info on here, but I hope what you do know will help the case. She's told you that she has no idea of the time frame. And another interesting post I found, look at this. Candus Wells, July 15th at 6:06 p.m. That was supposedly the day that she disappeared, right? And doesn't that look like Summer right there? You could see a part of her, considering the other kids are boys. That looks like a girl. Looks like that could be Summer. So it's kind of interesting. Because what time did she supposedly disappear? Okay, so here's Christopher Markos records. So you have that in California. Charges, offenses, lewd or lascivious acts with a child under 14 years of age. And then we have another one in Tennessee. As you can see, R of a child, second degree, R of a child, second degree. And then we have one in Washington, R of a child. So we got one in California, Tennessee, and Washington. So I feel like those are the important charges for, basically for it being relevant to the case, you know. You could see how that could possibly be important in the case, those details. If this guy was around Summer, I mean, you never know. But here's some of the other charges, random charges that this Christopher Markos has. So he has the failure to register as an offender. Looks like burglary. Driving while under the influence. Driving while under the influence of drugs. Unspecified charge. His job title, company, country cruisers. Job title, mechanic. Dates, August 9th, 2015 to June 10th, 2020. Then another job title is car restoration. Dates, November 19th, 2010. Another charge is a vehicle operator, flee, elude, traffic officer. Another charge not specified. Another charge is no valid Arizona driver's license, evidence of financial responsibility. And here's another interesting post I found. I called DCS. I'm not sure whatever came about the situation, but I haven't slept because I feel so guilty for not doing more. I should have kept calling, but I didn't think they would do anything because I already called. I told them what I knew, that I saw her hit and kick Summer, and that they would lock her in the basement. I called again as soon as I found out Summer was missing. The basement had a lock on the inside and outside, but I've been in that basement and I know how hot it gets, and she would scream. You don't punish a kid this way. I assume Summer never told them the truth if they talked to her. She would be a hyper little girl. What kid isn't? She always wanted attention. She was a very sensitive kid. One day her mom wasn't watching her and she pulled out plants and her mom had a fit. As far as the DCS report about her husband, just so you know, her mother was just as scared as Candus, as she was her son-in-law. She ran all over her mother, called her names, etc. I don't know how she tolerated them. Oh, and it's funny how nice and sympathetic Donald talks on camera. That's not who he is, and it makes me sick. He could be nice, yes, especially if he needed your help with something. They would fight over money or something, and she would just go sit outside and do videos and was nearly falling asleep. She did fall asleep smoking and drinking beer, but she acted high too. Like I said, other times she would curse and hit him back, so you never knew what her personality would be on any given day. I think drug use made her bipolar. I never personally witnessed drug use, although I suspect she did pills. I saw him drink, but he never seemed super high unless he was drunk, but he did mention Xanax. Beer was their preference for alcohol. They must have cleaned up the thousands of beer cans outside before they called the law. The place would have looked much worse if it wasn't for some of the help she had. And one more interesting post. Somebody posted this under video, court TV video comment. It says, I was on a live chat earlier. Someone who lives in the area said that it came across the scanner, that the sheriff's department responded to the parent's address and escorted a juvenile male back to the sheriff's department. Don't know how true the info is, but I will be looking for info tomorrow. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I will chat with you later on this evening. Everybody have a good night. Well, a good morning, actually. It's 5 in the morning and I haven't slept yet. So I'm going to try to get a few hours of sleep and do a live later this evening. So talk to you then. Bye, everybody.